Let's turn this up. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Check, check, check. 1, 2. Let's try some real quick. Hold up. Oops. There we go. Let's do like that. Okay. There we go. Yo, 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 yo. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? What's up with it? What's up with it? I'm just making sure everything is good. Can y'all hear me? Can you guys hear me? Beautiful. All right. There we go. Oh, let me fix this. Hold up. 'Cause this is wild. There we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we in the building. We in the building. Make sure I let the streets know that we're live. Oh no, I don't like that. Hold up. Listen, y'all, today has been a day. Today has been a day. It's been nonstop since like 8:30 this morning. And I still got other stuff I need to do. So I'm definitely tired. All right, hold up. Yeah. Oh, Kelly, you ain't been here for a little bit. Yeah, we did this a few weeks ago, big dog. We did this a few weeks ago. We got the live chat right here so the streets can see, you know what I'm saying? Just gotta make sure everything is good, you feel me? So I'm tired, y'all. So I don't think I'm gonna have the energy that I had maybe on Sunday. Did everybody watch Sunday's live? I'm pretty sure everybody who's in here so far saw the live. I'm almost positive y'all did because I've talked to most of y'all in some form or fashion about it. So here we go. Whew. Okay, all right, let's work. Yeah, man. Hold on, I'm gonna do one more thing. Okay, never mind. It's still going up. I just need to stop touching stuff and just rock. So I do need to do one more thing. Let me pull up my recap with my questions. All right. Yeah. I got 2 screens up. So I got my homework stuff over here. I have no notes. I was gonna write notes today and I just didn't have time, y'all. I didn't. So man, I don't even know what to say or how to start. So yeah, so I guess give me some like general feedback about the first live. What do y'all think? What's the fallout, the response? What are some things that you guys have seen that's maybe been interesting, some of the responses? Because that's what I want to talk about first. I want to talk about the responses. And then we're going to get into some of the questions that I got. I got some really good questions. We're going to try and keep this at an hour. And, that's it. So, yeah, what y'all think of Sunday's live and sort of the subsequent fallout? I don't know if y'all was in folks' mentions or not. It's amazing how many people have disassociated themselves with Christian hip hop. And it's funny that I'm having this conversation and I've never ascribed to the genre explicitly. I just make music for Jesus. And that's kind of made me sad, is that some people have said, yo, it's just a cycle. Like, we keep having these conversations. Like, I don't know if anything that I'm saying is going to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's going to make a dent, or if it's just going to be, par for the course. Do I have an hour in me? Pause, first of all. Second of all, yeah, probably once I get into the swing of things, I'm really just like kind of taking my time, because I really am tired. This is the first time I've sat down in 12 hours, 13 hours. So I'm pretty tired. Yeah, so one thing that I noticed when it came to the response that I got was who responded and how they responded. That was very interesting. B+, what up? It's very interesting who responded and the manner in which they responded to. Because if you guys remember my initial tweet, I said, I don't want anyone to engage. I feel like the missing piece is an outsider who is not waving the bloodstained banner of Christian hip hop, and then also is not jaded or bitter by their experience. There needs to be a happy medium that sees all sides. And I think my burden exists for this because it's people. I really don't care about the systems enough to try and save them. But I do care about people. And I'm not necessarily trying to save people. I just feel like this is the why did we break up conversation. So what I mean by that is, you be in a relationship, you would break up with somebody, and y'all would come back together a little later. Y'all start messing around, whatever. And then y'all kind of start acting like y'all together again until something happens and y'all end up arguing, fighting, whatever. And then y'all have the big blow up. Like the fight is a really big fight. And then you go away. So then when y'all come back after the big fight, then you have the closure conversation. And it's why did we break up? What happened? And that provides, well, you did this. I could have did this better. I could have did this better. I apologize for this, whatever. And then like y'all really decide to go your separate ways. I feel like a lot of people need to have that conversation with folks. And it's really just my generation. It's not the kids at all. Like the kids ain't affected, but I really do think it's like 2001 to like 2014, 13, like 14. Like the end of Collision's run was kind of like the end of it. So you got your Humble Beasts and your RMGs and your God Over Monies and your Reaches and everything in between. And you have people like me who just so happen to be in the room and privy to a lot of conversations and a lot of context that I feel like the fans, the other people that aren't artists, need to have, because they're like, yo, what happened? This was my favorite guy. This was my hero in the faith. He fell off. What happened? He stopped making music, or he disassociated himself from this space. Why did he disassociate himself from this space? Because as violent and as aggressive as some people did, and I want to talk about that, Think about all the people who did it very quietly, who kind of still dabble, still work with the artists, but like not really. Had to have been a reason why, right? When you talk to them, there are reasons why. But for the most part, those people want to be mindful of their community experience. I need to start recording, my bad. They want to be mindful of their community experience and relationships. And like, I ain't even trying to draw a whole lot of attention to myself, so I'm out. But at the same time, they still left. Why? So, had a conversation with a friend who works at Reach about the conversation. He said there was definitely talk around the office and how their response should mirror Jesus above all. Can I just say I hate these cookie cutter Jesus responses? Because you're able to pop lock your way out of like accountability and ownership. Because sometimes like ownership and accountability, and y'all know how I feel about them words, especially in the context of social media, in this generation. But like, I can hold myself accountable and I can ascribe people to hold me accountable. So that I think is biblical, because that leads to like repentance and things like that. But sometimes you're on the other side of that, where your actions didn't really mirror Jesus. And are you willing to take the L now? Or are you going to write a book about it in another 10 years when it doesn't matter? And vaguely talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So no disrespect to your guy, Trenton, because I don't know him. I don't know who it was. And he may have had all the greatest intentions of the world, but I just kind of don't trust that, if I'm honest. And that leads me to the point that I wanted to make about who responded and what they said. And if you go through my mentions, some people were talking real strong. And they said that I was convoluting the issue and that there are multiple experiences. Like basically they said, I'm confusing a system with somebody's experience. And those are two separate issues. And I thought about what they were saying, and I had a conversation, and here's the commonality. First of all, I had a conversation with one person in my mentions, and then I realized like, yeah, this ain't gonna go the way that it needs to go. And then when people kept popping up, I just decided to ask, like, did you watch the first live, or did you watch the 2-minute clip that I put together? Because here's what happened. Here's what I noticed. And this may be a strong parallel, but it's the parallel that my mind conjured up. Jesus. Do y'all remember in 2020? Seems like so long ago, right? Peak quarantine, peak COVID, and all of these white churches were leading the discussions on racial reconciliation. And I'm also talking slow because I want to make sure that I'm speaking in a way that I'm getting all my thoughts out, because I realized on Sunday I wasn't getting all my thoughts out. And I'm being prayerful as I didn't get to stop and say, "Dear Lord." So I'm kind of praying as I'm talking too, just to make sure that the Spirit does what it needs to do. But do y'all remember in 2020 when a lot of white churches began fostering, let me move this over here. There we go. That's fine. I didn't really move it anywhere, but it's fine. They began fostering conversations about racial reconciliation. And they wanted people to, they put them on a stage and they would prop up black voices, voices of color, and they would share their racial experience. Hi, Vita. They would share their racial experience and the racism that they experienced in the church. They would share the racism that they experienced in the church. And after about the 20th conversation, first of all, folks began to realize that these black voices were kind of like, they were not used to amplify the downtrodden and those who needed a voice, but they were there to justify behavior. Performative. It's a good word, Kellis. Performative. And they begin to say, well, you know, I just don't understand. After a while, it was like, well, I just don't understand why, you know, you can't just, I mean, I had a friend and they attend this church and they don't deal with, or they didn't experience, or they haven't shared with me, and I'm not racist and my pastor's not racist, and look at all these wonderful things that we do. And, you know, and then it began to go deeper, and they begin to get frustrated, and they begin to say, well, you know, was that really a racist experience? I don't know if that was what you thought it was. Maybe you should go pray about it. Maybe you should take that somewhere else. I don't think that was what you said it was. And so ultimately, they set the stage to foster the discussion, but they did it in a way that attempted to allow them to escape the ownership of their compliance in fostering those racist experiences that their black brothers and sisters experienced in the building. So people think because it didn't happen to them, or they had a similar experience, that it's individual, and because I got over it, you should get over it too. Do you know, when you have a child, and this is like along the lines of like a lot of healthy parenting stuff, this is stuff that like my wife and I talk about a lot. And like, so when the kid says they're overwhelmed and they're frustrated, and the parent's response is, man, you ain't overwhelmed and frustrated. Man, all y'all got to do is go to school and, you know, do your chores. You don't have the responsibilities that I have. And what they're saying is they're dismissing someone else's experience because they, in their mind, share a similar experience. And because they deal with it a certain way, you should be able to as well. And so also the people who responded to me a little strong, I also just realized that they still benefit off of the structure being what it is. I'm not saying that they're malicious or anything like that, because in my personal interactions with these people, they cool, they solid. But I gotta call a spade a spade. Like, folks benefit off of those systems and platforms and structures. They've learned how to maneuver and navigate in them. And so because they didn't experience, or they had a particular experience, then it's still okay. And you don't have to account for everything. Because when it happened to me, I didn't get propped up on the stage and get to share my experience. I just had to deal with it. And it's very dismissive of people who have had those experiences. It's very dismissive. And to me, it doesn't reflect the character of Christ. It's very dismissive. Because shout out to Paris Chairs. He circled the block. He said, yo, I didn't know. I just saw the clip. Let me go watch. And here's what I love what Paris did. It's why this dude has my respect forever. He publicly hit me and said, yo, I watched what you said. I was wrong. I actually agree with you. And now I understand the context that you were providing. That's the repentance that you forgive immediately, as opposed to niggas still talking like they was right and everybody else was wrong because they've had the conversation for 10 years. Well, buddy, there's a reason why you've had the conversation for 10 years and nothing's changed, because you can't say what really needs to be said because you have too many relationships. Like I said, you too close. You carrying the blood-stained flag. You carrying the flag, brother. You carrying the flag, brother. And that's cool. Carry the flag. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at carrying the flag. I'm just saying be aware that you're carrying the flag so you have a bias. Because people kept bringing the conversation back to like Chris's initial comment of CHH is dead. Well, it can't be dead because this, and this. It can't be dead because this, and this. And the main thing that came to mind was like, yo, well, if because Chris's barometer, we talked about this on the initial live. Chris's barometer was Billboard and success, and people was talking about festivals and monetization and all this stuff. Okay, so niggas is getting the bags. That's what I took away from it. I said, okay, well, if folks was getting the bags, then why is Rapzilla crowdfunding to save the website? You know what I'm saying? Because all of y'all benefited off of Rapzilla. Y'all should have been the first ones in your pocket if you weren't. Crowdfunding shouldn't even have been an option for them. Chad and Justin and all those guys should have been able to make some phone calls and shoot some DMs, and they should have had them 12 racks immediately. But that wasn't the case. Excuse me. But I don't follow any of that stuff. It was brought to my attention, and I have to mention this because it was brought to my attention that, you know, Rapzilla covered Thizzle's rant, but my context was not covered, but there were people from Rapzilla in the chat on Sunday engaging. So, you know, 2 + 2 is 4. Excuse me. And so what you have to recognize is that these are fans and relationships and all of these things. And I'm not even going to get into they don't post my stuff and all that, because I really don't care about that. That's not a concern of mine. But, you know, you showcase your homies and you showcase the people that you have relationships with. And that's why I've always said, build your own. Because I got on the phone with Paris, and Paris asked me, say, yo, what do you think the space needs? And I said, everybody just got to find a lane and run it. Run in your lane. Just run. Full speed. Run. Run as fast as you can. Just run. And get to everything that you can get to. And then integrate and cross-pollinate with other spaces with people who are getting to it and running their race. And that's how you build it. So, man, because when I was younger, 80, 89, 90, I got into hip hop in like 88, 89, 90, 91, X-Clan, Brand Nubian, Queen Latifah, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul. A lot of their raps were Afrocentric in culture. And actually, I'm getting ahead of it because one of the questions was about like the name CHH and why people want to label stuff. And yeah, I'm all over the place, y'all. Pardon me, because there's some other places I was gonna go, and I'm all over the place. So even The Chronic, when you listen to Dr. Dre's The Chronic album and you listen to those skits, it's very pro-black. Like the LA riots were very pro-black. It was a very race-driven, and it was people beginning to discover themselves, discover their identity, and much of it was rooted in 5% Afrocentric, kings and queens, black woman is God, like that theology. But they never, ever, ever called it 5% hip hop or Muslim hip hop. So when I got into the Christian space, and it was Christian hip hop and holy hip hop when I first heard about it, dang, I meant to build that up and talk about something else. But you know what it reminded me of? Like the name of it? I will circle back eventually, Christian. You're right. So at the church that I was going to, this was like at the tail end. So this was kind of like one of the straws that broke the camel's back. So that church didn't do relationships well. It was very cliquish. It was a small church. It was very cliquish. And it was a lot going on there. Yeah, I need to circle back to holy hip hop. Somebody remind me to circle back to holy hip hop, because I also have another parallel with that. I need to start answering these questions. Here we go. I'm already at 9:30 and asked if I had an hour in me. I definitely have an hour. I might even go over. Dang, what else? Oh, okay. So my church. So what ended up happening was me and two of my homegirls was like, man, this is corny. Let's just start hanging out outside of church. We were kind of like the outcasts of the church. Like we were kind of like later identified as rebellious. But really we was just kicking it, and we just wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. By then I was already done with the Kool-Aid. It was over it. But so we start kicking it. We start kicking it tough too. Like those, to this day, those are my dogs. So we kicking it hard, kicking it super tough. Then we decide, let's throw a kickback. So we throw the kickback. We start inviting people. And the kickback is cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just a kickback. Some people playing video games, some people playing cards, there's music going. We just kicking it. Good, clean fun. Good, clean Christian fun. So then word starts to kind of get around the church that we kicking it. And people are having fun. And so we like, all right, well, we about to throw another kickback. Let's invite some people from the church, because the other ones weren't inviting people from the church. We was outside. So let's invite a couple people from the church, people that we know is cool. Let's invite them. So we invite a couple people, mostly like newer members. So we invite them, they kick it, they have fun, everything is cool. And then we invited the wrong person, right? So the wrong person goes back and tells leadership they having fun. They having a kickback, whatever. So leadership comes to us and says, we're about to start a relationship ministry. I said, what? So I'm on the phone with my pastor for like an hour and a half, and he's selling it to me. He got all this laid out. He wants me to lead it and be a part of it. And I'm just like, why are y'all starting a ministry for people to hang out outside of church? Does that have to have rules and parameters outside of like, don't do nothing, don't smash, don't be disrespectful, whatever. Like, we need a ministry for it? And what I realized was some Christians in many churches just like having titles and labels to things because they compartmentalize and they need structure and rules and all this other stuff to like make it make sense to them, as opposed to just stepping out and doing it. So that's what I felt like when people call it Christian hip hop or holy hip hop. The reason why it's not just hip hop is because some people wanted a label to it. And the crazy part is, because there's some people who take the scripture, be ye separate, to heart. So they separate themselves. But then the weird part is, whenever mainstream outlets accept the separatists, then all of a sudden it's like it's a blessing from God. Typically, for some people it's demonic and they've sold out, they've compromised. For other people, it's, oh my God, they're on MTV. Oh my God, they're on Complex. Oh my God, they're on ESPN. Where it's just like, y'all should have just started off that way. Because hip hop is very inclusive. Before I got saved, I've been in several activities and communities that were rooted in hip hop. Like that was the initial commonality. So why? And you're right, Vita, absolutely it was control. So that parallels to my Christian hip hop. Some of it is control. Because you can control narratives. You can control, you can control narratives. Because here, let's name some names a little bit, and then I'm gonna get into the questions. I promise. I know there's some stuff that I'm forgetting. I know there is. Let's name some names. So when I think about like the big four that like really left Christian hip hop in the time period that I'm talking about, you got Kristen Gray, Jay Given, Shout Jeremiah, John Gibbs, Isaiah Ziv, formerly known as Kid. To certain levels, Cambino experienced some of that pushback, but Cam different. And Cam was like, I know y'all not finna do this. But, like, listen, man, Cam had a song about enjoying his wife. He had a song about having sex with the person that he was married to. And the church was mad at him. Huh? What? Are you serious? When? Isn't that a byproduct of the structure? So when things like that exist, and you tell people to go get healed, and you don't acknowledge the structure, but then you tell me that I'm convoluting two separate conversations? Are you crazy? Are you dumb? The audacity. Like, I can't believe it. Sometimes we looking at stuff, I'm like, are you serious? How does that work? Y'all weird. Super weird. So let me get into these questions, man. But they were okay. Listen, I wasn't touching that TD Jakes album with a 10-foot pole. No, sir. No, sir. Yeah, man. Like, Show Barack. What you talking about? The Talented 10th? Which one are you talking about? Yeah, they was mad at Nigga Island, bro. They were hot. And it was Lifeway. Lifeway ain't hip hop. Of course, when you put hip hop things in non-hip hop spaces, they're not gonna understand it. That's culture. There's just certain, this is one thing I talk about this all the time. I miss regional culture. I miss it so much. like one of the biggest detractions I have on the internet is that everything is convoluted. I remember when I would go to since Vita's in here, I would go to the West Coast. My first time going to the Bay Area, what we would do is whenever we would go out of town, we would immediately turn on the radio. What's on the radio? So I'm in the Bay. I'm hearing Too Short, E40, Ant Banks, Mac Mall. You know what I'm saying? JT the Bigger Figure. What? Stuff that I would never hear anywhere else. And I just missed that. I missed the region out. So the reason why I brought that up was because when you take a dude from New York and you put him in the Bay, his initial response is like, yo, what is this? But if this dude is hip hop, even if he doesn't get with the music, he will eventually adapt to the culture and understand it. Versus if you take some white guy from New Hampshire, you know what I'm saying, and you stick him in the Bay or you put him in the middle of Brooklyn, his head gonna explode. He don't even know what to do with himself. And when you talk about those power structures that you know, a lot of leaders in those white churches and white don't let me get into the white spaces. When you get into those spaces, the leadership and the power that a lot of those white churches exhibit, they not trying to understand. They just like, man, get this out of here. Get it out of here. I don't need to hear that. So yeah, they removed Sho Baraka's music from Lifeway. Niggas shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Y'all don't see that? But here's the problem, and I want to circle back to Holy Hip Hop. None of y'all reminded me. It's cool. I'm joking. Do you know why it trend? And I think some of y'all know this because some of y'all know more history than I do. Like, I'm not the historian. Like, Kellis is absolutely a historian. I'm not the historian. But you know why it stopped being holy hip hop and it transitioned and it became Christian hip hop? Because them black churches wasn't spending money. And them white churches and them white pastors, when you start seeing those rappers standing next to John Piper and, you know, performing at these big festivals with, you know, 5,000-10,000 people in the congregation. Yeah, bro, I went to Holy Hip Hop Awards too in 2008, I want to say. 2008, 2009. Saw some stuff there too. Saw this girl freestyling in tongues. That was crazy. She was rapping, but she was speaking in tongues while she was rapping. I shouldn't laugh at that. But listen, man, them black churches either didn't have the money, or number two, had the money and didn't see the value in allocating it to hip hop, to the youths. Because you know what they wanted youth ministry to be? They wanted y'all to mime. They wanted y'all to mime to what's that Kirk Franklin song? Yo, where the mimes at? Are there still mimes in 2023 in churches? I ain't seen not one mime in about 5 to 7 years. Where the mimes at? I said, man, them niggas ain't want you to mime, man. Why did that become ministry? How was this like the Lord? Let me chill, because somebody can say the same thing about rapping. And that's the whole point, right? I forgot it's just, oh, you know what? It's the Kirk Franklin song that Nas sampled on Life is Good for the intro. Don't Cry. That's what it was. I think that's the name of it. He was miming the Don't Cry. Niggas was having trouble with Tone A. I was like, y'all, I'm coming in this space. I'm like, y'all having trouble with Tone A? This is bothering y'all? This is a Russell? Tone? Keep the moms away from me, my G. Silent holy, because it's quiet. And hip hop is loud. And hip hop is aggressive. And hip hop is boisterous. And hip hop is anti-system. Hip hop goes against the system. Hip hop has always been rebellious. And you can be rebellious and respectful, but you still gonna have that rebelliousness. You go against systems. And y'all, this stuff just never made sense. I'm telling y'all, I was at Flavor Fest 2013, and I'd had to do all this stuff to be a part of the event. I had to get a letter of recommendation from my go on Rapzilla, go type in Flavor Fest 2013. I did this freestyle with V Rose and some other people, and we filmed it, and I was just like, it was cool. The beat was all slow, it wasn't really my style, but I was like, yo, I was like, cool, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then I got to the space and I kind of started like mingling a little bit, and I was just like, what am I doing here? And I had that conversation with Xavier Omar. What am I doing here? When he was Spazzy Rocket, I was like, bro, what are we doing here? What is this? I didn't get it. So that's why I feel like Holy Hip Hop turned from the black churches. The black churches wasn't feeling it, and then it moved over to the white churches. And then what happens is you start integrating those cultures. And anytime you've seen a church that tries to integrate, like when two churches merge and it's a white church and a black church, 9 times out of 10, all the culture of the black church goes away. And ain't no more speaking in tongues, and ain't no more bucking, and ain't no falling out, and ain't none of that, no organ playing, none of that. It's quiet. And I feel like that's what happened with Christian hip hop to a degree. So what ends up happening, back to my other point about Chris and Jay Givens and John Gibbs and Kid. I don't remember how Kid left, but Jeremiah, John, and Kristen all left violently. You know what I'm saying? You remember that era when Chris kept saying it's all in the music, it's all in the music. I don't know if y'all remember that era when Chris and Jeremiah were making music together. It is all in the music. It's all in the music. So he wasn't wrong and he wasn't being dismissive. He's like, yo, somebody said this in my comments. It might have been Trenton, actually. I don't know if he's still in here. Yeah, he is. Trenton was like, yo, if you've been listening to music and if you've been seeing the trends, like, this was bound to happen. Nobody should be surprised. And they shouldn't be dismissive, because in their own way, it's really them calling out for help in what should be a safe space. Should be. Kids start doing weed and folks on with, oh boy. Yo, if Christians smoking weed is the worst of your problems, if that's the strongest of your convictions, brother, let me tell you. I just be like, yo, these are the things. Do you know the things that people are dealing with? Do you know the struggles, the internal struggles that people have that they are afraid to communicate because you worried about niggas smoking weed? Are you crazy? I got some friends right now, did a podcast about big Christians who smoke weed. One of them was in a prominent position at their church. Things changed. People are hurting. Are you crazy? People are hurting. People still dealing with that. And you worry about weed. You worry about somebody tweeting out that Christian hip hop is dead? Are you crazy? Because they come to they be in my DMs and my folks' DMs. They be talking to me and talking to us. Because listen, I think one of the reasons I can have this conversation is because I really didn't fool with any of these people. So, you go back to I was never really, you never really saw pictures with me with people. The people that I'm with is the people I've been with. I've been rocking with Taylor since 2013. I've been rocking with JB since 2012. My circle is I've been rocking with Priest since 2012, 2011. Yav, I don't really go too far outside of my circle. Cash Hollister. I don't really go to Sean C. Johnson's my guy. I don't really go too far out my circle. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a dog in this race. Let's get to these questions, man. Listen, I'm saying, I know mad people who used to smoke weed and read the Bible. And people would sit there and talk about the medicinal benefits of weed. Say, yo, when I smoke this, my body feels better. I have aches and pains, the CBD, but it's no, it's a sin. Kush and Corinthians, exactly. Let's get to these questions, man. All right, so these questions, I think I answered some of these. I'm going over 10 o'clock. Y'all just give me a little grace period, about 15, 20 minutes, maybe 10:30 at the latest. First question I got was, if someone actually pulled the curtain back, do you think people would really say something? My hope. Philip, what's up, man? I've been waiting to hear from you, bro. You've been real quiet. That just means you've been seeking the Lord. That's all. Which is good. Don't jump out the window. Just chill. You just reminded me to hit bat. I gotta hit Bats back because he actually responded to my tweet. So I'm wondering. I don't know these kids. So it's some guys that I'm rapping with. It's some youngins that I'm rapping with, and I'm just trying to figure out if I should get them on a snooze button or if I should do music with them, or if I should do music for a snooze button. That's probably the choice to do. I want to get some more stuff on streaming. All right, but yeah, to answer this first question, if someone actually pulled the curtain back, do you think people would really say something? Something that one of my pastors used to say was man, make sure you tell on yourself, because if you tell on yourself, can't nobody tell on you. And that's something that I've tried to do. I've tried really hard to do that. So I try to be as honest as I can with the music. And I try to be mindful of what I'm saying, because there are things that people can say. I talk about this on Black Jordan 1. There are things that people can say about me. Some of those things are true. And there are times that I mishandled people and I made selfish choices regarding people, and people were impacted by that. And it's people that don't really fool with me, and I understand. And so I try to be as careful, because sometimes you holding the gun and sometimes you on the other side of the barrel. And I want to be empathetic in either one of those cases. So my hope is that if someone ever does pull the curtain back, that's not what leads people to say something. My hope is that conversations like these will lead people to just be like, hey, you know what? This is what happened. I hope so. Because if you get exposed, exposals are nasty. Exposals are ugly. Accountability is a major key. Self-accountability. If I'm accountable to myself, if I can do that to myself, when I was in the military, they used to say, resolve it at the lowest level possible. Make sure it don't get up to the commander. So if there's an issue between two lower ranking uh, uh, soldiers, airmen, let's try to squash it as low as possible so we ain't got to get all the way up. Because if it gets all the way up, you might have some consequences that you ain't ready for. And I really, really hope, and I'm not saying this and I really, really hope that that's not the case. I hope so. So, I kept bringing up, let me ask this question. I'm going to read this rant and then it's going to answer my question. That I keep bringing up Jay Givens, John, and all them because I'm trying to make a point and I keep forgetting. So one of my questions is the nuance of some of these folks that are traumatized. The actions that we hold against them should be red flags to things happening behind the scenes. Like some of the folks who left got wild online, so the story almost wrote itself. But isn't that the actual loving thing to do for people who have been traumatized? So what happened was when Jay Givens, listen, do y'all know, again, it's all in the music. So these artists are putting out music and they're telling y'all in so many words, like I'm going through it. And this is how I'm processing what I'm going through. If I wasn't a rapper, baby, I'd be on all kind of drugs. And so when that doesn't get heard, then you get a little more aggressive. Then you start being more aggressive, and like that's kind of what those guys ended up doing. Like their response ended up being really aggressive, and to this point in this rant, like they kind of started wilding online. And so what happens is then the system and the structure can blame how you left as to why they're not addressing why you left. You know what I'm saying? So if my daughter storms up the steps and slams the door, I don't care that she's mad or that something's bothering her. I'm about to be like, why are you slamming my door? And now you about to be in trouble because you slammed the door. You know what I'm saying? And so we just mad that these folks stormed out when it could have been squashed on the lowest level. It really could have been. And it wasn't. And that's unfortunate. And folks got to own that. Got to own their role in being complicit and compliant in some of those things. Sucks. So, my shoulder is killing me. So, yeah, folks, you just gotta be mindful. Like when people show up online a certain way, like you gotta kind of think like, all right, why are they doing this? Are they okay? And it's really not our responsibility to like go after them. We can't really do that because we don't really know them. We just got to pray for their communities, that their communities can surround them. So all that like go get healed, like you don't realize that when you show grace and you're empathetic towards someone, that is a huge aid into someone going to get healed. If I go to a restaurant and your service is trash, let me say, if your food is trash but your service is good, I might still come back because your service was really good. But if your food is good but your service is trash, I might not come back because I don't want to deal with the service to get food. Because you know what? It's another burger spot down the street. You know what I'm saying? Philip, you missed my correlation between some of these people that was responding to the Christian hip hop and in white churches, in their Black Lives Matter racial reconciliation conversations. It was really good. That'd have been right up your alley. I start off slow, but you know, when the stream ends, yeah, check that out. I want you to check that. I want to get your thoughts on that. But yeah, bro, compassion goes a long way, a very long way. A long way. Like, man, just being seen by somebody. Just be like, yo, man, hey, man, you gonna be all right, man. Do y'all know that that's prophetic? Prophetic isn't just like hovering and saying, "Thus saith the Lord." Sometimes you know what a prophetic word is. You gonna be all right, man. You good, man. You gonna be okay. That's prophetic. Sometimes that's all people need to hear. Like, yo, bro, you good, man. I see you. You need anything? You need a glass of water? You need to sit down? Do you need to sit down? You need a bed? Like, that does anything more than praying for you, brother. God looking at you like, nigga, why you talking to me? Go clothe that man. Go get that man a glass of water. Go give him a hug. You crazy? Go get healed. Y'all niggas crazy, man. Y'all tripping. Like, yo, just the audacity of it, yo. I was like, are you serious? Because when folks was popping, you absolutely was in DMs trying to get a verse. You was trying to get a flick. Y'all meet up at some concert or some you know what I'm saying, some meeting or event or something, some conference, and y'all get the flick off. Yo, with the bro. And y'all in the comments, and y'all, the fans, you guys are in the comments. Hey, y'all, hey, want to hear music. It's building up the brand, building up all this stuff. But somebody going through something, somebody having a real hard time, and you not saying nothing, or you telling him to go get healed. You crazy? And you got proximity to that man. Are you crazy? There's something else I was going to say. I remember Taylor said he had a record that was slinging some shots at some of the CHH guys, but one of his homies shut it down. I'm just say this, and I'm going to keep it moving. If Taylor would have put out that record, everything would have changed. Everything would have changed. The direction of Christian hip hop would have changed. Some folks would have had to be accountable publicly that are not trying to be accountable. Because Taylor was sniping. And it was the Holy Spirit showing grace. And Taylor said, nah, I'm good. And whenever Taylor is ready to speak, however he chooses to speak, be it on our podcast or through his own medium, like, y'all listen to that man. Y'all listen to what he has to say. Because it's important. It's funny to me. And it's somebody else's fault why that record didn't come out. And I'm not gonna say nothing else, because y'all gonna pop up and y'all gonna share it everywhere else. When I create my Patreon, I'll tell the story on my Patreon. You gotta pay for that. You gotta pay for that. But it's some context, boy. Anyway. Yeah, there was something else that somebody else said. Go close it, man. I think you're the only one I've seen acknowledge both the reality that our ministry money culture can be predatory and unhealthy, and the fact that many get in this game for clout and get mad. Yes, bro. Niggas be chasing them John Piper bags. They be seeing, they be looking on our Instagram, and I shouldn't say our, because I don't get church money. But they be looking on like prominent rappers' Instagrams and seeing the Fear of God and the Yeezys and all that stuff, the new Christian uniform, the Maverick City merch with the beanie. You know what I'm saying? I just be wearing beanies because I just haven't taken care of my hair much since quarantine. So I'll be getting haircuts and then putting hats back on like I'm Papoose. And I like these beanies. Y'all was talking about them earlier. Yeah, they may be tomorrow beanies. Kellis, I grabbed them Sauconys. They supposed to be here tomorrow. I grabbed the hair joints. And hair joints is hard. I don't think I'm doing too many Jordans in 2023, man. I don't think I'm going to do it. I got a couple pair. I got the Purple Canyons and I got the Ama Manier 4s. I don't know if I'm going to do. I might do like playoff 8s. There's a couple Jordans that I may get this year, but I'm New Balance A6 Saucony. Like I'm chilling this year, bro. Anyway, something else that I was reading too. I think Aha Gazelle, I haven't heard that name in a while. Aha Gazelle shared a little insight into the world of CHH in his 24/7 hip hop interview after he left Reach, but he cussed in the video, so people ignored it and called him bitter. If all you take away is somebody's frustration, if y'all notice, I've been saying nigga on purpose. Because I don't care. Jesus still loves me. And if you're offended by me saying the N-word, then that's your own conviction. That's cool. You can have that because some black people don't like using that word, but I do. Now try to disregard everything else I've said. You can't do it. All right, let me see. Maybe CHH needs to have the record. Nah, it does. The record don't need to come out. It's too late now. Like conversations have been had and stuff. But again, highest tier, to Kelly's point, highest tier of the Patreon, maybe one day. But now the record don't need to come out in 2023. It don't. It will be digging up stuff. That record was hard. Anyway, all right, what else we got? Oh man, I asked somebody for context and they sent me context to their questions. Okay, so I want to hear. Well, I want to ask you guys about the like the difference between. And Philip, I'm gonna DM you because you bringing up some stuff, and I need to talk to you. I'm gonna be launching something, and I want you to be a part of it. I want to help amplify your voice. It's not that my platform is big or anything, but I definitely want to amplify your voice. I think you have some things to say, and I want to create some safe space for you to really get your bars off, and not just on a record. So I'm gonna DM you in the coming days or weeks or so once I figure some logistical stuff out, because you be saying stuff. Let me see what other questions, because I still got like 5 questions left. Still like 5 or 6 questions left. Okay, so people used to love the Bible teaching rap and hate on the lifestyle rap heavily. Many think that it's vice versa today, but it depends on who you ask. The thing is, many who think that don't realize that the issues that Ambassador and Truth went through contributed somewhat to that shift. So that was a little bit before my time, Ambassador and Truth. So I don't really know like the whole dynamic of all that stuff. You know, when I came into it, y'all, I mean, some of y'all like Kellis, I know Kellis has been around since the beginning, but man, my raps used to be real bloody. And honestly, some of those raps, I'm kind of like, I didn't need to rap about that. I learned over time to kind of like just be a little more mindful of what I was saying. But yeah, like, you know, some people, yeah, B plus, get hip to Philip. Philip is a dope artist. He's also an excellent orator. He has a great voice and a great context. He be spitting like every day. I'm like, damn, you rapping it like you got something to say about this too today? Did you just drop something heavy yesterday? I'm joking, but not really. I don't really remember that context, to be honest with you. I don't really know. Are there any like Christian rappers out now that are like really heavy on the theology? The only person I can think of is maybe like Eshawn. Hey man, hey, when Eshawn told y'all that he was ascribing to Black Hebrew Israelite theology, or he ascribed himself as an Israelite. You know who was. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. But it was certain people who was mad at Eshawn. I don't think everybody was mad at Eshawn. I think people also similar to Chris. Here's the problem. You know what the problem is? You know what the other problem is, y'all? It's Twitter. It's Twitter. Twitter is the easiest way to communicate, but it's the worst place to communicate. It's terrible. Because if I say something and you respond and say, hey, Armand, can you explain that? 9 times out of 10, when people, they just be like, nah. And I know it's the little micro content I made earlier, but like Eshawn was Eshawn to the other point, like Eshawn was very aggressive and bold. And when people was trying to figure out what he meant, he was just like, no, I'm not telling y'all. I'm still a Christian, but my theology is a little different. And now here we are 3 years later, 4 years later. I feel like Black people are having this like identity awakening. And I'm sure Eshawn is sitting back like, what was I trying to tell you guys? But whatever. See? And Philip, I respect that too. A lot of folks ain't speaking because they just trying to protect their bag. But what they don't realize is if you speak, and if you speak in the right way and you find your target audience, your bag gets bigger. There's a reason why folks like Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels and Dr. Umar the GOAT, there's reasons why they have the audience and the following that they have, because they articulate in a way that connects to something that is not spoken of in the majority. And they get more bags than people who be shucking and jiving for them to get in the space of the majority. The majority is too many people in the club. It's too many people in the club. We would go, when we was in the club would get too crowded, we'd go outside. Or we would go over here to this space. We would go to a space that was a little, where we could actually do what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, social media is a broadcast. Absolutely. It's a broadcast. And the scary part about social media is you be at home, so you be real comfortable. Your toes be out. You be chilling, right? But then you say stuff that you probably otherwise wouldn't say because you're comfortable. You at home, so you feel like you're at home. And you don't really you're not in your brain. You're not ascribing like, okay, I have 5,000 followers. I have 1,000 followers. But those are 1,000 different people who are choosing to follow you. And so when you say something, they might have some questions. So, I don't know. I'm all over the place. Okay, let's get down to these last few questions, and then we're gonna get out of here because I don't want to hold y'all up. What should artists do to protect their art and their hearts in this business? Ooh, good question. Ooh. What should artists do to protect it? The artists in this room, how do y'all protect your art and your hearts? The first thing I would do, how you protect your art, is get your business right. Get your business right. Get your coin together. Get your branding together. Get your legalities. That's the best way. To protect your art is to protect it legally. So can't nobody just come in and steal your stuff. How do you protect your heart? Twofold. Set your own expectation. Actually, threefold, because I'm going to steal Christian's answer because he's absolutely right. Allow God to set your expectation. And the duality of that is set your own expectation. So do that through prayer. And then also just like when you do like the work internally, I always say like the triple threat is, self accountability. It's prayer. Actually, wait, hold on. Okay. So so like therapy, prayer, and community. That's like, and then self accountability. So it's 4. My bad. Those 4 things. If you are able to touch all 4 of those squares, bro, you got it. And when you do like the real, like the healing work, when you do the work and you don't like respond with like Christian cliches and stuff, I think your expectations become different. They become more realistic. You're like, I ain't really trying to get on this site. I ain't really trying to work with this artist. I'm going to just do what I enjoy. And I'm gonna figure out how to monetize it, because now it's just too many bags out here. So I'm just gonna try to find how you can get to a bag. If it's social media, if it's Patreon, if it's licensing, if it's merch, is like whatever. Like figure out the bag and get to it. Even if it's just a stream of revenue. Like I ain't saying you gotta like go off your job and rap, because that's the other problem too. These niggas was quitting their job. These niggas was quitting their job to rap. And it wasn't working. It wasn't like it is now, where now you have like streaming, and if you build that catalog up, you can have a consistent, your distro kid can kick out to you properly. It's like, I gotta put out a whole album again, and you get all that upfront money and then nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Christian, the other answer, yes, remaining authentic. Remain authentic. Don't chase trends. Don't chase. Like, look, bro, if you don't want to be on TikTok, if y'all follow me, I know Shane is on my CRS. A couple of y'all are in our CRS community. I go back and forth with TikTok all the time. And sometimes I'll be on it, and then like right now, I'll be like, nah, I get a headache when I be on TikTok longer than 5 minutes. This is too much. I don't like this space. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like being on Facebook. Like a couple months ago when I was making money on Facebook, I liked it. And now I don't like it. Now I'm not making money on Facebook no more. You know what I'm saying? So being authentic, figuring out, tapping in with your body, figuring out what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what you want to do. What do you want to do? All that is in the realm of authenticity for sure. This water is delicious. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me read Philip's answer. You got to know your why and stick to it. Be brutally honest with yourself. If you want fame or money, say that. But then learn you more than anything. Don't lie to yourself. You need to be more focused on more than your dream. Learn where your gifts provide value to others and lean into that. Your tribe will come. And then pray more than you hustle. This is why. That's what Philip doing. Philip auditioning. That's what he doing. Philip like, oh, Armand gave me the alley-oop. I'm about to watch this. I see you, bro. You spot on per usual. I see you. What else? How is Swoop able to rock with so many different lanes within CHH? Cause Swoop is the GOAT, man. Cause Swoop is insanely talented. Here's what Swoop. So I don't know if y'all remember, there was that video. There was that collision video. It was when Chris left and they replaced Chris with somebody. I forgot who they replaced him with. And I remember Swoop was getting killed in the comments because he was dressing like Kanye. This is before all the Christians did it. It wasn't cool to do it. Like Swoop had the 750s on and he had the long scoop hem tee, and folks was like, oh, you straight out of Watch the Throne right now. So Swoop tells you so many times, like Swoop is like, yo, Kanye inspires me. I'm directly inspired by Kanye. I love Kanye. He'll tell you himself, Kanye, Lupe. And so people don't think like what that actually means. You know what that actually means when you're inspired by Kanye West? It means that you're able to do different styles of music incredibly well. So when you hear Kanye, Kanye can do the rapidy raps. Kanye can do stadium music. Kanye can do completely different genres. He just did a gospel album a few years ago. Had a whole choir out. Like a what? It's like, yo, I'm gonna put a choir together. All these albums that sound completely different from the previous one. All these styles and things that he created. And Swoop is inspired by that because deep down, Swoop can do all that stuff too. So when you listen to an album like Sunshine, it's got trap, it's got, 1-2-3 Jump youth records, but it's got rapidy rap records. It's got like just all different styles of music. So people see that and people are like, you're good. And on top of that, Swoop is a good dude. Swoop is a good dude. So when you're a good dude and you're insanely talented, yeah, like it's really easy for you to get in those circles. Keyshawn Furlow. Jesus. Haven't heard that name in a while. Absolutely. That's who it was. Keyshawn Furlow. That was his name. Yo, these people have these experiences. Don't just tell them to get healed. Acknowledge the experiences. And don't be mad because they're mad at the experience. They are. Crazy. These dudes weird, man. Why y'all so weird? Why is this such a hard concept to grasp? That it's both and. I kept saying on the first stream, it's bigger than Nino Brown. It's not just Chris. Y'all keep focusing on him saying that it was dead. He's saying it's dead because he had bad experiences. And like I said, somebody asked me what I think. Yo, some of this stuff needs to die. And shout out to Lex. I want to respond to something Lex said. So my homegirl Lex, shout out to Lex Divine. I love Lex. She really is the GOAT. I don't know what she doing right now, but she about to do something. I can feel it. She said basically like, yo, CHH can't die because people are attached to it. And people who are named by God are attached to it. And if God is attached to anything, it can't be dead. So that's why I've been saying that like hip hop within the spectrum of Christianity will always live because hip hop is the strongest force in the universe right now. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop rules the world. I think we're about to see a little change in that. I just have this feeling that like all these rappers dying and this like keep it real era and people going to jail and snitching and all this stuff. You got these people working at Target talking about Gunna's a snitch. Something's about to change with hip hop on a grand scale. I don't know what, but I just got this nagging feeling that like we're getting to the edge of some stuff and hip hop is just going to be different moving forward. I don't know from what point, but I just feel like we're getting close to that. But anyway, dang, what was the point I was making? Somebody remind me, what was the point I was making? I talked about Swoop and then I said something else. Help me. Someone. I want to get out of here by 10:30. Yeah, more AI rappers, like rap music is just becoming less and less of a commodity. That's the other thing I would tell y'all to do. Like, yo, go outside. Go outside, build community outside, go to open mics, press up CDs again. Like get back to that physical interaction. All this social media stuff, like it's fleeting. Oh, Lex. Thank you guys. Thank you. Shout out to Lex. I love Lex. So because Christian hip hop is a community and hip hop is the strongest force in the world, thank you guys for reminding me. I really do appreciate that because I completely forgot. Like the people are always gonna be good. Everybody in this chat just loves hip hop and loves Jesus. So those things are always gonna exist. But some of these platforms and systems and people in positions and some of that stuff gotta go. Some of that stuff gotta go. Some of it gotta die. CHH means different things to different people. Christian hip hop means different things to different people. But some of the stuff that folks is hanging on to gotta go. It's gotta go. Christianity and hip hop have an awkward relationship. Absolutely. Evangelicalism has been about culture wars, piety, and xenophobia. So yeah, it's gonna be weird. Yeah. Yep. Yep. They've always had a weird relationship, which has always been weird to me. Cause it's like when y'all leave church, like, yo, y'all be listening to Nas. What are you talking about? How does that work? I ain't gonna do that. It's wild how many out here making viral hits but can't perform at all because people aren't curated content and you can't do remakes on stage. Listen, what happened with Ice Spice was a lesson in going viral. I now at this point in my life do not want any of my music to go viral. And here's why. Because that 10 seconds goes viral. When Ice Spice would run out on stage, you thought I was feeling you? And the crowd would go crazy. And it was just immediately, just up, down. By the time she said the hook the second time, it was over because that was the length of all the content that was made based off of her song. So when she rapping, ain't nobody trying to hear that. She got to start twerking and doing other stuff in order to get the crowd back. So that little segment of songs like Steve Lacy stuff, we talked about that on CRS, like virality, like I'm sure people are getting the bags with that, but it's at a cost if you really care about your art, which is why AI rappers and what's that app, BandLab, that I recently saw where you can make entire songs from your phone. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. Last question. It's a 2-part question. Is Christian hip hop a golden calf that has been elevated because we wanted our own genre? And would CHH artists lose relevance if there was no CHH? What y'all think? Let's sip some water while y'all get y'all answers. When I start my Patreon, I want there to be like multiple people, so it ain't just me waiting on y'all and reading y'all answers. Like, I want to have group discussions in my Patreon. Absolutely. Is CHH a golden calf that has been elevated because we wanted our own genre? And would CHH artists lose relevance if there was no CHH? To Philip's point, it's some folks that can't perform outside of a church. I've seen it. I've seen people tear churches down, hop on stage and wreck shop in a church, and then come with me to an open mic and stink it up. I've seen it. I've seen it. And they think the little tricks that work in churches and black churches is going to work at these open mics with these incense and these beautiful women with their big hair and these dudes with their locks that's really writing. It's like, yo, that don't work, G. You're going to have to figure something out. So is it a golden calf? I absolutely think it's a golden calf. Judging by the responses that I got to my first live, yeah, it's absolutely a golden calf to folks. 100%. Okay, so Iceberg, I like your response. You actually broke it down. So you said the way some people have responded, maybe they do make it, or success or fame or money their idol. Absolutely. So maybe it's not Christian hip hop as a whole, but maybe what you have access to through that medium, that's your golden calf. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. CHH seems like it was used. Wolves Den, I really like a lot of your thoughts and your perspective. Seems like it was used as an idealized ministry when it never was that. But I think many CHH artists would flourish if they debuted out of the community. For some, it is a golden calf, but as you said before, CHH reflects the state of the church at the time. Production is king out here, so looking the part can get you notoriety. Absolutely. But if you got it for real, you can go up in or out of the church setting. Absolutely. I think they will lose relevance because there's too many people that listen to it, if not because it's good, but because it's Christian. But as long as it has a Bible verse and they say Jesus at least once. I think all y'all got it, bro. That's absolute facts. Absolute facts. Yeah, I figure out some people would get to it. Yeah, I keep bringing up again the kids got it, bro. That Spin Back record, like that record is out of here. I wish I saw things about that record outside of TikTok. And I'm not saying that as a diss. It's like, yo, that record is it. That record is gone. That record is out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hit. And you know what it is when you hear it? It's a super Christian hip hop record. Lots of Jesus per minutes. Like, it's out of here. It's out of here. So those types of records that people can just, ascribe to. And I think you're going to see a lot of people. Man, I've been hearing a lot of prophetic words about people who left the faith who are going to start returning back in this season. I think they're going to return back with some things. And while niggas is like arguing for these, niggas is going to be arguing for these little scraps and, these little coins. And these people are going to come back and they just going to blow the roof off of the church. And by the church, I mean the people. And it's going to be totally different. And if you're not in a position to like be part of it, and if you're not okay with not being like the guy or the girl, you're going to be in trouble. I believe that wholeheartedly. So I've said a lot, guys. I'm really tired. I'm really, really tired. And I've got a busy work day tomorrow. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? I'll give y'all like 5 minutes. Bring anything up. The artists that would still be relevant are the ones that are true to themselves and who God is calling them to be, and they walk what they say, no matter how different the sound is. That's a fact. That's a fact. All these like fake Griselda artists. Griselda for Jesus. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all wasn't doing that till y'all sing Conway. Cut it out. We was up here rapping. We ain't see you. You wasn't around. Oh, man. Man, water is good. Yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I don't think I need to have another one of these. Is there anything else that I need to cover? Because I was talking to one of the homies about it, and they was like, yeah, maybe you can make this a series. And I'm like, well, how many times am I going to like communicate the same thing? I feel like these 2 lives have communicated everything that I could say in my wheelhouse. I just think, we could just talk about this. Hey, y'all. So one of the things that I'm launching, what I'm going to turn this Wednesday night space into is a late night talk show format. And it's going to be called Wake Up Tonight. And I'm going to interview people. So actually that's something that I want to interview folks, and I want to give them a platform, and I want to talk about like real like real things, and people always said, I want to talk about real, like, no, I actually want to talk about real things. I want to give people like a safe space to like really get their bars off, and just share, because my community is dope. I'm not the smartest person in here. There's some of y'all in these comments who are way more intelligent, way more knowledgeable than me. No, we absolutely can do gritty Christian hip hop. No, absolutely. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying like it's a style now, when like that's always been a thing. Like, don't make it now because it's popular. Make it because like that's your bag. That's all I'm saying. Authenticity. That's all I'm saying. So in another 3 years, like if that wave fades out, are you going to transition into the next thing? Are you going to be making house records? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be making, Jersey Club? You going to be rapping over Uzi, I Just Want to Rock? You know what I'm saying? Favorite season of The Simpsons? I don't know. I have to see like a list. Of course, it's like the first like 11 or 12. I got to see a list of what the episodes are. I don't know the seasons like directly offhand. I wish I did, as much as I've seen them. Excuse me. So, but yeah, I'm gonna, so the format is gonna be like I'm gonna go live 3 times a month on Wednesdays. So one will be a live like this. One will be an interview, and it'll be pre-recorded, but I'll be in the comments engaging with you guys with the interview. And then one will be a live for my Patreon. So I want to launch my Patreon with my new single, but I got to get some stuff together. Some logistical things still aren't in order, and I got to get that right. So I was trying to aim for like late January, early February, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So what am I talking for the Patreon? Different tiers, bro. Different tiers. If you really want to get into it, the highest tier, as of right now, the highest tier is $20. I think there's gonna be a $1 tier, $5 tier, a $10 tier, and a $20 tier. The $20 tier, like the value is just nuts. I'll make it worth your while. But if you can't pay that, there's still definitely some value there. But I'm still getting there. Tentatively, a Snooze Button 6 is on the way. Armand and Doc 2 is on the way. And I want to make some music with people that I haven't made music with in a while. There will be no Black Jordans White Sox 3 this year, unless it like really calls for it. But I don't think this year, based off of what Taylor and I have going on, what we have in the chamber, I don't think we're gonna have time to lock in unless like the world needs it. And I think you guys can wait another year for 3. But lots of music and things. There will be a 3rd season of COVID Community. We're gonna rebrand that because COVID is it's weird. Like COVID kind of like that word kind of defines a time that we're like outside of a little bit. So yeah, it's gonna be dope. Longevity and artistry. Honestly, I feel like Tragic Heroes 1985 should be required listening for rappers. Listen, man, that Tragic and Taylor record that they're putting out on Friday, super dope. I just heard it. I hear it Monday. I heard it Monday. It's dope. It's dope. Tragic is one of the people I want to bring into the space and talk to. That may be more for a COVID Community or whatever we're naming it to. I know we're naming it to, but I'm not telling y'all. We're changing the name to. Tragic is moving. So, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. My space ran out on my computer. I recorded too long. Let me get out of here. No, did it drop? He told me that it was dropping. Did it come out? Listen, I'll stay away from Ruslan stuff. So, but he told me to watch it because of the type of conversation they had. So I plan on watching it, but keep me away from Ruslan. But yeah, I'll check it out. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see y'all next time. Super dope. I'm glad this inspired you to be creative, bro. I'm gonna get with y'all though. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitter. Most of y'all follow me on Twitter. I ain't gonna tell y'all. Y'all follow me on social media. I get with y'all though. I appreciate y'all.